This meeting is being recorded.
Divya Anand, please introduce yourself fully. Tell us about your work and please tell us a story.
Thank you, Eric. I'm Divya Anand. Hello, everybody. I trained under Dr. Eric for storytelling, and it's been a wonderful journey since then. I predominantly work with children stories. And thank you so much, Eric, for bringing another year of the splendid Chennai Storytellers Festival. And thank you for this opportunity to me. And my story here goes. Cho ya bu qua chiu ting lei, jing ho tui bin chei. Cha chi poi hoi a boy chu kei, to lu sao ling kei. Go lo piao di bim ba pe, sao ke an chu te. Chiu mi bang gi ka pai se, shim li twa pi pe. Shim li twa pi pe. I bring to you a story from Taiwan. A long time ago, in southern Taiwan, was a quaint village at the foothills of a large and finely shaped mountain. The village folk were very simple people, and they had, for their livelihood, they did things like farming and fishing and basket weaving and so on. They were a very simple and happy lot. Now, one day they came to this village, an old man, a frail and fragile old man. He had white hair, a long beard. His face was slightly wrinkled. He was wearing shabby clothes. And on his drooping shoulders, he was carrying a mud pot. He seemed to be a man of poor means. But his eyes carried a gleam. And his voice carried a cheer as he walked through the streets of the village, and he sang. Jowsies, delicious jowsies, hot, delicious, scrumptious jowsies, made with fresh sesame and rice. Oh, please come and try them, my dumplings are nice. Jowsies, delicious jowsies. Jowsies in Taiwanese means dumplings. So essentially he was singing, dumplings, delicious dumplings. And he walked through the street. As the aroma of fresh dumplings wafted through the air and reached the noses of everybody walking up and down the street. But sadly, nobody came and bought his dumplings. So he walked a little bit and then went to the corner of the street, put his mud pot down and sat there. And like any advertisement that needs boosting up with a catchy tagline or a slogan, he added to his song. Dumplings, delicious dumplings, soft and tasty, hot and delicious. I give you 1 for 1 cent, 2 for 2 cents, and 3 for free. You know, when these advertisements ring and the word free comes on the air, it's like free, free, free. It sounds everywhere. That's exactly what happened in the village too. A woman quickly stopped, and there were a few other footsteps that stopped near him. Did you say 3 for free? Asked the woman. The old man smiled and replied, "Yes, ma'am, I certainly did." Fisherman Wong, who had had fresh catch of fish, he was walking towards the market. He stopped there. "But you said 1 for 1 cent and 2 for 2 cents, didn't you?" The old man nodded in agreement. "I did that too, sir." "And you say 3 for free?" The old man said, "Yes, I do, my dear friend. 3 for free it is." The villagers looked at each other in surprise. Is he out of his mind? Who makes such a strange offer like this? One said, "I think he's new to the village. He must be a trickster. You see those dumplings? They must have been drugged. Once we've eaten them and we fall asleep, he's sure to burgle all our houses and run away in the night." Tailor Chan, he was leaning on a tree. "Oh, do you see this old man? You see how frail and weak he is. Let's not be so harsh on him. He doesn't even have enough strength to carry his pot. What will he do robbing us in the night?" The old man was listening to all this. He said, "I hear you all. You see, you might be worried I'm a trickster, I'm a cheat, and I might rob you away. But believe me, I'm just a poor old man selling dumplings for a livelihood. You see, I live beyond your village, near the mountain, near the foothills of that mountain there. And I'm just selling dumplings to make little bit of money and run my house. That's all." Well, the old man did sound convincing and earnest. So Tailor Chan bravely stepped forward and said, "Very well then, I shall try one of your dumplings." The old man smiled and said, "Wise decision. You will not regret it." And so he said, "Here you go," and dug his hand into the pot and pulled out a dumpling. And it was huge. It was as big as an egg, a big egg. So he placed it on a leaf and handed it over to Chan. And Chan took it and nibbled a slight bit of it. But as soon as he had done that, his eyes automatically closed. And he began to savor the aroma and the flavors of that dumpling. He said, "What is this? It's the most tasty, delicious dumpling I've ever eaten. Forget delicious dumpling. It's the most tasty anything I have ever eaten in my life." And he finished it off quickly. All the villagers were looking at Chan's face in amazement. And Chan, quickly, as if it wasn't in his control, stretched his palm and said, "One more, please." The old man smiled as if he was anticipating this. He said, "Sure," and handed over another dumpling to Chan. And this time Chan, he did not nibble it, but 1 and 2 quickly gulped it. And as he was doing it, he noticed the mountain there and said, "Don't you think that mountain looks as if it is missing a portion on top, as if it is sliced off?" The villagers said, "Oh, you've eaten too much. Your eyes are playing a trick on you. It's the same mountain that we've been seeing for all this time." Now, Chan was wondering what to do. He was already full because the dumplings were really big. He was not hungry anymore. But then the thought crossed his mind that if indeed what the old man said was true, that it was 3 for free, then if he would take another dumpling, he wouldn't have to pay at all. So even though he didn't really need the dumpling, he said, "You said I could have 3 for free, so I will have 1 more." So the old man said, "Yes, most certainly you will." And then handed over the 3rd dumpling to Chan. And this time, Chan just gobbled the entire dumpling in one go. And once he had finished with it, he said, I am most certain that mountain is missing a slight bit on top. I don't know how you cannot see it, he said. The villagers just mocked at him. After looking at Chan and his reaction to the dumplings, the villagers slowly and steadily stepped up to the old man. And then they said, we would like some dumplings too. The old man said, yes, I was hoping you would ask me. The greengrocer said, I want 3 dumplings to take home to my dear wife. The flower girl said, my husband loves dumplings more than me, so 3 for me, please. The fisherwoman said, I have 3 children back home, hungry. I have to go and cook after a long day's work. I'm very tired, so 3 dumplings for me, please. And before he knew it, the old man had exhausted all the dumplings in his pot. He stood up and said, well, folks, that was the last of them. I'm so glad you liked them. Thank you. A small girl ran up and said, will you come back tomorrow? I do hope to, said the old man, and he walked away. Word had spread about the delicious dumplings in the village, and true to his word, the old man did return the following day. And this time he had a big rod across his shoulders with 2 big pots across the rod, filled with dumplings up to the brim. And he sang, dumplings, delicious dumplings. Today there are dumplings with peanuts and spice. If you aren't quick to grab one, they'll be gone in a trice. So come one, come all, taste my dumplings. And yes, today too I will give you 1 for 1 cent, 2 for 2 cents, and 3 for free. And today the villagers were expecting the old man to come back, so they all thronged to him like bees to a flower. And everyone, of course, they wanted not 1, not 2, but 3, because 3 for free it was, wasn't it? The old man said, my, you all have enormous appetites. Everybody, all of you want 3 dumplings? So whether the villagers wanted the dumplings, whether they were hungry, whether they had any need for it, whether they had people back home to eat it, all of them took 3 dumplings. Chan again was back for his share of 3 dumplings. It was as if he was royally wanting to take those dumplings. He came to the old man and said, I want my share of 3. You see, I was the one who stepped up bravely to try the first dumpling, didn't I? The old man said, yes, most certainly you did. Here you go, take your share of 3 dumplings. And so Chan took the 3 dumplings. And again, as he was eating, he noticed the mountain there. He said, oh, I don't understand how you aren't able to see that the mountain has been sliced off. And today it looks more sliced off than yesterday. What is wrong with you people? The villagers said, what is making you think so funny, Chan? Eat your 3 dumplings and go home and sleep. So everybody took their share of dumplings. The pots were soon empty. And the old man reassured the villagers that he would be back the following day. So come next day, the eager villagers returned back. The dumplings man came. And this time there were 2 pots. And there was another small bundle on top of his head. Very soon he would be running out of places to have bundles or pots of dumplings if he had to cater to this order or business from the villagers. I wouldn't call it business because actually nobody was paying him for the dumplings. But yes, he did bring extra. And he said, today, see, I have brought extra dumplings for you. And again, there was a hustle and bustle to take these dumplings. And as this was going on, there was a small voice. Sir, can I have 1 dumpling, please? And there was a tiny palm outstretched and it said, here is 1 cent. Now this, "Can I have one dumpling, please?" was fine. But "Here is 1 cent," that was a very odd sentence. People hadn't even heard of this last 2-3 days. Everybody was taking the dumplings for free. So nobody had bothered to bring out any 1 cent, 2 cents, no. So this sentence really sounded very, very odd. And they all fell silent. They were, who is this person? Who is the silly person, in fact, who wants to pay for a dumpling? The old man was surprised himself. He looked up from the pots and he said, "Who is that?" And there he saw a young boy, a teenager, his palm outstretched with 1 cent. "Kind sir, please give me 1 dumpling and here is 1 cent for it." "Young man, don't you know you can have 3 dumplings for free? Why do you want to pay and take just 1? The young boy said, "Yes, sir, I know. I know you're giving away 3 for free, but you see, you have been putting so much of an effort in making these dumplings, and your shoulders are drooping, you're frail and tired and weak, and you are making an effort to bring all these dumplings to us from that distance from where you stay. You said you make a livelihood by selling dumplings, but the past 3 days I haven't seen you make any living at all. You haven't earned 1 single penny out of these dumplings. And despite the loss that you're making, you're continuing to bring us these lovely dumplings. So I want to help you, but unfortunately I have only 1 cent and I can afford only 1 dumpling. So here it is." The villagers heard this. They were all shell-shocked. They said, "Oh, this thought, it hadn't crossed their minds." Nobody's minds. They were all so greedy and they just wanted to hog on the dumplings that it didn't cross their minds to even pay this old man 1 single penny. The old man got up. And as he stood this time, he suddenly didn't appear very weak anymore. There was some kind of aura around him, some kind of dazzling radiance around him. And he smiled and said, "You, young boy, you are the one I'm looking for. I have been looking for you to take as my disciple. Come, I will teach you and make you a master." Everybody was startled, surprised, dumbfounded. "Who are you?" they asked. "Well, me? You thought I was a trickster, I was a burglar, a cheat. But no, I am the god of that mountain you see over there, the one that you see beyond your village. I'm the mountain god. And I came here to test you, to see if even one of you would have had the kind heart to help this old man. But you were all greedily gobbling away, even whether you needed, whether you didn't, you were all so self-centered. And only this young boy had the heart, a kind heart. And Taylor Chan was right all along. The mountain is indeed missing portions, but you were all too greedy and too stuffed to see, to notice. The mountain's been missing portions because that is the mountain, that is the mud that you have been eating all along. The villagers didn't believe it. What? And they all rushed back to the pots and peeped inside the pots, and the pots were filled to the brim with mud. And they felt very guilty. They realized that none of them had been kind and respectful for this old man. And they felt a sense of remorse, a sense of guilt. and hung their heads in shame. And the old man, he took the young boy as his disciple and said, that he would teach him. And he walked away. So the villagers named that mountain Ban Pin Shan, which means half mountain in Taiwanese. And Ban Pin Shan stands even today in the southern village of Kaohsiung in southern Taiwan, where it is revered and cherished as a reminder that it healed the villagers of their greed and self-centeredness. So it stands as a reminder to them even today. That was the story of Three for Free, a folktale from Taiwan. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, you told the story beautifully, and you obviously put a lot of work into it, preparing.
Yeah. Yeah, I did, Eric.
So you feel that story is it's a very simple story.
It's a very, yes.
But you feel it was complex enough and deep enough that you dedicated so much work to it.
Yes, Eric. So it's simple in the fact that the old man was giving something for free, and the villagers got tempted, and therefore they kind of rushed to the offer. But it also brings into forefront the fact that we probably should be, some thought should have been put into why this old man was doing that, and probably not take advantage of that old man. Mm-hmm. And that thought probably didn't cross anybody. So this is more to bring up front the fact that don't take any advantage of anybody. Look at why he might be doing it. That kind side of everybody, I think, should be reflected. So I think this is more to bring that. So mm-hmm. I felt that way when I read this, and I thought even this story can be projected for this aspect, mm-hmm. which is why I chose this. And I thought because of our theme being healing, even this small thing could be like a healing thing, a small thing that, be respectful of others or don't take advantage of anybody, could be a small step to healing, individualistically or elsewhere. It really will help.
Rainu? You're on mute, it seems. No, you're on mute somehow.
Divya, I love the story and the effort that you have put into this story. Could you tell us what does that song mean? Because it was so beautiful, and I know it's not very easy language to pick up. I can understand how much you must have put the effort. But what is the meaning of those lyrics?
That is a folk song, actually. So it doesn't have anything to do with the story as such. It's a folk song from the land. It's a general folk song of the land. It's like the weather and the it's more because it's a mountain story and the fields and the villages. It's more to do like that.
Story actually has multiple, we can derive multiple meanings out of it. It can be an environmental story also. It can be about gratitude also, and not taking things for granted, not taking people for granted. So it is a very meaningful story, and a good discussion. have, even with children, we can always ask them, was there any time that you took something for granted, and what
Yes.
would you have done differently? I love this story. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you, Kajal. Thank you so much.
Renu, I apologize that your sound is not coming through. Would you consider going out and coming back in again immediately? Uh, yeah, see, we've been using Zoom now for 5 or 6 hours straight, and it seems there's a little issue about it. I'll try to get to the bottom of it. But Renu, if you could go out and come back, I think that will solve.
Yeah, hi. I think the second time I'm listening to a story from you, and I'm amazed at the amount of effort you put into it. It's kind of really something which something I should try to do a little bit more. But really a lovely story, and as Kajal said, so many layers to it. But I really appreciate actually the effort to take in. It's a very small story, like you said, but it still takes a lot of effort to get it to the level that you did.
Thank you so much, Kalyan. Thanks a lot.
Divya, this is a wonderful story, and especially in this opportunistic world where especially for the younger generation who are just chasing this whole thing of sale, and this free, that free.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think the younger generation today is all about this, and they know everywhere where you can additional bonus bond, free things, giveaways. This brings such a wonderful story to share with the teenagers, with the youngsters, teaching them gratitude. Fantastic. And your voice is so warm and soothing. I mean, you can go on forever listening to you. Thank you so much.
That's very sweet of you, Nivedita. In fact, actually, the point that you mentioned, it kind of resonated with me when I was reading. This thing of free, I was thinking that it's a folk tale, so obviously it's kind of dated. But this concept that a free thing was tempting, even in a setup like that, even in a setup like a village, or a smaller environmentally that kind of place, it's so tempting, and even the villagers thronged because it was for free. So it that parallel that came between now and then, that actually resonated. So even I like that aspect about how you can that temptation, you yield to the temptation.
Yeah. In fact, I joined a little late when Lakshmi finished her narration and the pets were being discussed. And just to continue with where we started this particular thing, see, gratitude is something which dogs teach us. You keep a plate of food in front of any young child, and he will not wait for your permission to take it. He is there, he is finished with it. I have a pug who's around 10 years old. I keep an open biscuit packet in front of him. He will religiously wait for me to pick up one and say, okay, here it is, take it. This is something even when we usually see pets as the kiddish, the love giving, but I think pets tend to teach us something much more. In this multitasking world, they are the only one who do one job at a time, and it is so much to learn from them. Right. Thank you. It was a wonderful story. I will definitely, with your permission, do it in my class.
Please do. It's a folk tale, so please do. I'm glad you liked it.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Eric. Thank you. I think that worked, going out and coming back. Yeah, Divya, I enjoyed your story. The story is simple, no doubt, but it has a powerful message. And I think your pauses was what made it really powerful. Everywhere you paused, gave us time to think and to reflect. I think that is a very important aspect of storytelling. And I think you aced it today. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the story and enjoyed your telling. Fantastic job. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Renu. Thanks a lot.
Okay, we really need to move on to the next storyteller. So Divya, thank you so very much.